And so here's just a couple of them. Dear God, I read the Bible. What does begat mean? Nobody will tell me. Love, Allison. Dear God, instead of letting people die and having to make new ones, why don't you keep the ones you already have now? Jane. Isn't that cute? Dear God, maybe Cain and Abel would not have killed each other if they had their own rooms. That's what my mom did for me and my brother Larry. I know, that cute. Okay, dear God, if you watch me in church on Sunday, I'll show you my new shoes.
Aww.
Oh, so cute. Dear God, I bet it's very hard to love everyone in the whole world. There are only 4 people in my family, and I'm having a hard time loving all of them. And the last one. Dear God, are you really invisible, or is it just a trick? Isn't that cute?
Yes.
Oh, well, Roxy and I we always talk about the talk title, and I was thinking about the dark and the light, you know, and there's a gal that wrote the Dark Chasers, Debbie Ford. Yeah, Debbie Ford, and she actually passed away. You know that, right?
No, did not know that. When?
Yeah. So she used to say, you know, I just have to acknowledge I'm a real bee. Okay, I'm not going to say it out. But anyway, but she says, I'm going to acknowledge that because I can be a real biatch. And it was really, really interesting because she did a video and we actually played that video and it was really good. And one of the things that we see in the world, you know, somebody will, you know, they act all holier than thou, or they act like they're perfect, or, you know, any of those things. And what ends up happening, and we're all perfect, right, in here? Okay. And we never do anything wrong, do we? Okay. So one of the things, I was doing some reading and I found a book and I found some articles, and I really liked this because we talked about how balance is and how we get out of balance. And what I wasn't thinking about, we always think about the negativity, don't we? Rather than being too sweet or too kind. So I wanted to read this list and we'll talk about it a little bit. The balance becomes established easily once you identify your imbalance in a very conscious, non-emotional, scientific manner. You could be imbalanced in the dark nature or in the light nature. Have you ever thought that you're imbalanced in the light nature? So here's a couple things, and then I wanted to kind of talk about it with you. So it says, any negativity that you sense as your personal experience of your reality is an indication of an imbalance in you that this negativity is reflecting. So here's the ones that I didn't think about this. So they're saying you're imbalanced if you have neediness, guilt, meekness, getting exploited or abused, right? Feeling helpless, feeling vulnerable are examples of negativity that's evidence in the reality of a person who has imbalances in their light nature. Have you ever thought that that's an imbalance in their light nature? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to be perfect and smile all the time, and sometimes we can't be that way. Or think about how we try to people please, and I used to do that all the time, and now I'm like, forget about it, because we can't please everybody all the time. We never can, and you're not going to be able to. So what we have to do is embrace ourselves, and we ask God to really reveal to us, what do we need to help us to become more authentic? What do we need to help us to be more present or to be stronger within ourselves? And the last one was trying to be too much for somebody else. And that's going, if somebody's into martyrism, or if they're trying to do something all the time, or they're exhausting themselves all the time, what the heck good are they going to be for the other people? But I thought about this this week, and I thought, you know how some individuals, they're like perpetual victims. Does anybody know any perpetual victims? Okay.
The girl in the mirror.
Oh, Diana, don't declare that,
That's deep.
Okay, so anyway, what happens is that if we have this feeling of not being worthy or we feel like, oh, I'm so guilty. What are you going to attract? More guilt. Or you're going to attract more of not having money. Or you're going to attract more of this or that. And probably about, I don't know, maybe it's been 3 or 4 months now, I was going through a total victim time. And the more victim-y I was, the more people were perpetrating their stuff on me. And I'm like, whoa, this is good. You better own up and get strong now because they're going to keep coming after you. And what happens when we're in a victim place or when we're in a martyr place or we're in a state of that, then people will come and be your beloveds in order to help you to grow and become stronger. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you've been around victims or people that are in their pity party and you just want to slug them because you want them to wake up, but they're the ones that have to wake up. They're the ones that have to be present. They're the ones that have to say, you know what, no, I love me and I'm going to come first. And you see this a lot of times. Oh, okay, perfect example. How many of you saw The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? Oh my gosh, this so fits, okay? It was the best series, and this gal, the actress, won a, was that Emmy? Emmy? Golden Globe. So I was watching it, and you saw her, and this was during the 50s, I imagine, right? The 50s. And she was trying to be all perfect, and she would get up early before her husband woke up and put on all her makeup. And I'm like, are you out of your mind? Okay? And then she was always doing everything for him, everything for him, everything for him. Okay, here's how the universe responded to her. The universe responded to her saying, you really need to take care of yourself, girlfriend. And how it responded is that her husband cheated on her. So she's saying, wow, what? And so she gets really, really drunk one night. And here's how she's balancing her dark and her light, okay? She goes to a comedy club because her husband, she was always allowing her husband to be the comedian and try to become a comedian. She gets up there and just does a fabulous set. And she is so funny, people are laughing, and then the gal that's the manager of the comedy club says, you know what, you are that good, you're just authentic and you're real. And what happened in her journey is that if he hadn't left her, she would have never discovered her gift, right? Her gift of being able to be an incredible comedian. She would have never embraced her authentic nature either. Because there's other parts on the show where she, during her sets, her comedian sets, she writes these sets and then she'll go off into a stream of consciousness and it'll be the best ever. There was one part in the series where they were pretty much this one man, he was a bigwig in the area in New York City, and he said, you are never going to perform again because she had said something about somebody else. But if she hadn't done that, she wouldn't have been able to excel like she did toward the end of the series. So sometimes, you know, being present and just being authentic and allowing ourselves to be who we are is going to bring us into our power. It's going to bring us into our grace, and it's going to bring us more connected to spirit. And that's really what it's about, isn't it? Because as I'm watching that and I'm watching myself, I notice that we have imbalances all the time. So what we have to be aware of is where those imbalances are. And it's not a bad thing. Because, right, you're going, oh, I don't have any imbalances, I'm perfect. Well, yes, we are, but we're perfect, imperfect, okay? And it's for us to really be present to those things, because what happens as we allow ourselves to be balanced in both sides of the light and the dark? If you notice, okay, I gotta use Star Wars, right? So how many have been watching the Star Wars movies? You don't watch them? Oh, they're fantastic, right?
Yes.
And this is the perfect topic, because what happens is when you get too far into the dark side, we're not going to say there's a few people in the world that are like that, but they get so invested in that, they can't come out of it in order to embrace any of the light, in order to become balanced. And the reason why these Jedi, or the reason why we as spiritual beings can excel in the world is that we embrace the dark and the light. But we're able to embrace the light as well. So when we're in that perfect balance, we have so much power in the world, it's incredible. But until we continuously work on ourselves, we're not able to get to that inner power. And what that really is our intuition and our deep connection with God. That's what it's all about. And then we feel like, oh my gosh, I feel so present. I love Spirit, I love God. But we have to love ourselves first, and we have to get very present to ourselves, don't we? So with that, you know, I was thinking about in the past, and people say this all the time. How many of you have ever gone through kind of a rough patch in your life? Anybody? Okay. No, right? Yeah. And so here's what I'm saying. So somebody said this, I don't know, people have said this over the years to me. You know, I am just so tired of this spiritual journey. I mean, I just want it to stop. Okay, and here's what I'm going to tell you. So our life is like a little rung of a ladder. We're climbing up the ladder, and we got the little rungs, and as soon as you get to that next step, the part burns away. It's gone, baby. You are not going to be able to go back. So you have to move forward. You have to have the courage. And if you don't feel like you can do it, then you say, hey, I need some help here, God. Okay, help me out. And a lot of times what we don't do, including me, and I forget a lot of times, is that we don't ask for help. We don't ask for the assistance. Like, I don't know, say for example, you're in a relationship and you're having a hard time. Okay, you know what? Hey, bring in all of your people and angels and assistants and whatever I need in order for me to move forward and to excel. And if we don't ask, we don't get. You know, I always have this image of how we have our guides and our angels and they're going like this. Well, they didn't ask me. You know, we're sitting here suffering and we're feeling horrible. And the thing is, if we just ask, and that's really it. And it's allowing ourselves to feel worthy of asking. And as we allow in that divine presence, as we allow it into our lives, what's going to happen? You're going to have a whole new way of being. So as Wayne was talking about earlier, patience, was that what you were saying? Patience, it was? Coping skills. So we're going to call in some coping skill angels for your life, okay? And they're going to show up. Now, here's the thing that happens. So he wants some coping skills. Guess what's going to happen in Wayne's life? You want to know what's going to happen? He's going to have more nice opportunities to cope. So be careful what you ask for. Because if you want divine, perfect health, then you know what? You better start taking care of yourself. If you want more money in your life, then you better start looking at your finances and being present to it. So I'm going to use example, and I'm a bit of a risk taker financially, and I had to learn the hard way how not to do that. Because there was this like, oh yeah, this will be really awesome and I'll make all this money. And then I have totally blown it so many times. And I said, okay, so sweetheart, you know, there is no fast and easy way. Sorry. And so what I started to do is get very present to my finances and very present to what I do. Because there were parts of me that was unconscious and I would do something and I'm thinking, what is that? And I don't care what it is. We have some unconscious programming within us that we don't realize. So it's going to come up in order for you to have a better, more joyful experience in your life, right? And so recently, you know, I was going through the last couple of years, it was a little tougher, and I thought, you know what? So I'm just going to set an intention and make it a little bit better. And it is better. So I actually got TurboTax and did my own taxes. And it was awesome. Because the more you can understand about yourself, the better it is. And it's not just money. It's not just health. It's not just relationship. It's about your divine essence. The better that you can understand yourself, the more that you're going to be able to shift your lives. So I want to put this out to you because we have some time. Okay, so Wayne, you got yours, and Jackie, what's yours? Is it the same as Wayne's?
Yeah,
You want? And judging? Okay. So we should bring the board out and do a treatment real quick, right? Okay, so judgment. Anybody else have judgment you want to let go of? So there's part, yeah, right? Because we do it all the time. Okay, what else? What else do we want to do? What else are we looking at? Yeah, Diana.
To know that I'm safe when I'm comfortable and have enough money.
Okay, so, and have a good relationship with money.
Yeah.
How many of you feel like you have a good relationship with money? Really, and some don't, right? And if you feel like you do, then guess what? That energy comes and expands in your life. How many of you feel like you have you're good with relationships, friends, significant others? Yeah? Okay, and others, yeah, kind of going, so-so? Okay, so we could work on that, right? Some of them. So, as she just said, it depends on them. Really? No, that's your teacher, baby. Okay? And okay, so let's take some of those people. So what qualities would you need in order to feel more connected to those individuals? What would you need? What would you need for yourself?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, what would I need from them?
No, from you.
I was gonna say, yeah, nothing from them. So for me,
I know, good question, huh? Compassion, tolerance, what?
Empathy.
Empathy, that's a good one.
none of those actually.
Really?
No, not feeling those ones. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just a clarity, just really seeing the whole there.
So to understand and to be awake and aware?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Because a lot of times we don't know why something's bothering us, and I'll just be present to it. And it was interesting, I was visiting my son-in-law's family, and they're so crazy, they're funny, and they're traditional Armenian. And so his dad was saying, so what do you do up there? What do you do up there? And I said, what do you want me to do? Give you a talk right now? Okay? And it's really interesting. But, he's really, I knew that he's seeking to become, he wants to become happier because he's not feeling really great about himself. Okay, so we had a couple things that we had written down or we are talking about. So one is patience. What was it? To be more aware, right? Is that what it was?
Coping skills.
Yeah, coping skills. Okay, coping skills. And what was the other one? Less judgment. Okay, coping skills, less judgment.
I have a great relationship with money.
Oh, and I love money. So I feel comfortable with money. How about that, right? How many of you would like to feel comfortable and feel like, yeah, I'm good at this. I can invest. I'm comfortable.
I'd like to have enough to be uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh.
So much that I'm like, what do I do with all of
Exactly, there you go. Okay, so what else? And then what else do you guys want? Let's put it out there.
Grand passion.
What was that?
Ooh, grand passion.
Grand passion. Ooh, okay, come on. So what else? Because as we speak our word out right now, what we're doing, we're creating this to happen in your lives right now. Okay, so what else? Come on, guys. Everybody?
Health and vitality.
Health and vitality. That's what the Rev is claiming.
To
Bob?
ride on that lady's conversation she was having,
Yes.
for me, it's finding the crap that I'm holding on to, because when I find that crap and I let go of it, the problem goes away.
Well, yeah, so having what you don't, you want, whatever's like buried deep inside, get revealed.
Okay.
What's buried is getting revealed. How about that? How would you like that? Because if we're allowing the stuff that, oh, I gotta push that down, if we keep pushing it down, we're not gonna be able to shift, beloved ones, because it's gonna continue, and it affects us as health. It affects us in so many ways. It really does.
Yes.
And Roxy and I are both like, you know, incredible doers. So we both got taken out. She broke her ankle and I got sick for a couple months. Okay? So it's like, oh really? Okay, I'm listening. And so we are learning to take better care of ourselves because we're, what do you call us? High output. High output.
And your fire signs.
Yeah, and so we're always, and it's like how to honor ourselves. How many of you have good self-care? How many of you take care of yourselves? I know, right?
Yeah, I do that.
So, all right.
Let's put self-care because it
So-
can always be better.
There's always can be better. Okay, what else? What else do we want to declare? Yes.
Well, what occurs to me in the thing of what to shift in the relationship with life from myself, really. Like I heard empathy and I heard compassion, but honestly, that's there. I'm not saying it's there in some absolute unbounded way, but it's very clear for me.
Right.
The relationship. It's this right here. It's that balance of the light and darkness that allows me then to be in an authentic, balanced relationship. Because when I'm not there, whatever's going on up there gets imbalanced. So I might be very compassionate and very
Like too much?
empathic at times, yes. And then I need to really pull in the strength and clarity of, but it's really here. It's just when I'm in that place of clarity and authentic balance within myself, nothing gets confused.
And have good
The
boundaries.
rest of it, yeah.
Well, and boundaries, put that one up.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing I was noticing yesterday, I was more comfortable. We were all, they're like, come, you gotta stay. You know, this is like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, I gotta go home. And I was doing self-care. But what I noticed is that I accept everybody exactly the way they are. And I don't try to change them. How many of you accept people the way they are? Because they ain't gonna change people, okay?
I like more
Yeah.
self-acceptance too.
Oh, of course, self-acceptance. Okay, what else?
Clear guidance from God.
Oh, so give me a sign, baby. Give me a sign. I know.
Divine wisdom? or-
I would say, listen to your intuition.
Intuition.
Because, you know, we're always getting messages. Are you aware of that? Always, always. Now, what happens when you don't listen?
You
What
get
happens?
slapped upside
You get slapped upside the head. That's right. And spirits say, I gave you 1, no, 2, 3, 4. Damn, I gave you 6. I'm going to slap you now. Okay? So, and it's not that God's an unloving, that energy is not unloving. The energy is so loving of you that it's saying, come on, man. If you just get past this, everything's going to be so cool. And so when people say to me, oh, it's so hard, this future path, and so when you're in that dark place, guess what? It's going to be like, woo, joyful after you get out of that one. And trust me, I've gone through it at least 20, 30 times, haven't y'all? Because that's really it. And so I'm looking, oh, I just got a little message from God right now. And so I'm always looking as I'm really in a dark place, and I'm like, another opportunity to have a secret tryst with God. How about that? So you can say that, another opportunity to have a loving embrace with Spirit. And as we do, because it's just really Spirit calling unto Spirit, isn't it? And that's what it's about. Okay, anything else we want to declare so we can have freedom this week? Yeah? Anything else? Yes?
Fabulously successful authorship.
Oh, okay, anybody else want to write a book? Why not, right? Okay, successful, fabulously successful authorship. Somebody else had their hand up. What else? Anybody? And then we'll close it out. Yes?
Just a comment about what you're talking about, the messaging, if you don't listen closely, then you get additional accelerations of that message, right?
Oh, yes.
And they're just, to me, it's just simply an indicator. And if you don't hear the first indicator, you're going to get a louder indicator.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's so loving that it doesn't matter how many times you're not listening at the moment, right? It's loving, it's a whack on the side of the head.
Yeah, and I mean that in a funny way, but loving, it's loving. It's almost like you're standing next to a stream and, you know, a pot of gold's floating down the stream and you don't pick it up, okay? And then another one, oh, is that for me? and another one, all right? And so eventually, you're gonna pull it out and go, okay, I could claim this for myself. But a lot of times, we don't feel worthy either of that when that divine message is coming across us. That's why I'm saying a little spiritual 2x4. Oh, that's mine. I can have it. Okay. Yeah, it's beautiful because God is always loving. Always. There is no judgment. There's no, bearded man in the sky stuff. All right. So anything else we want to add to this? And we'll close it with a prayer. So I'll add it all in. Yes.
Extreme light and extreme darkness. Extreme.
Extreme. So letting go of extremes?
Being extreme.
Oh, being extreme. So what's the opposite of being extreme? Balanced? Moderation? What? What would you say?
Conscious.
No?
Balance.
Balanced, right?
Yeah.
You're going from one extreme to another, so finding middle ground?
Never
Fine.
no balance. Never no middle ground. Always extreme.
Always extreme. So letting go of extremes.
One extreme to the next.
Okay, so
Never
that's
middle ground.
So that's almost like, yeah, and so that's almost like a programming. How about allowing old programming to be released? Something like that, right?
You need balance up there though. 'cause
But you do need balance, yes.
What I heard him saying was to realize the full spectrum of those extreme darkness and light, to have this expansive.
That he wants that.
He wants it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you want expansion. Expansion, so put up expansion.
Allowing expansion.
Allowing expansion, there you go.
And integration of those.
Yeah.
And integration of all of this. Okay, Pam and then Diana, and we're gonna close this section.
How about overcoming fear of self-expression?
Oh, so allowing self-expression.
Yes.
Allowing self-expression.
Self-express
Okay.
your feelings and your needs and wants.
Trust in yourself
Yes.
and allowing self-expression. Okay, perfect. Diana?
I still remember one time in an adult children of alcoholics meeting where someone said, I know the middle ground, I pass it every time I go from one extreme to the other.
That's a good one. That is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to say this in a prayer, all right, really fast. So, keep it down. Okay, so what we're going to do, because we don't have time to write it all out.
Okay.
Okay, so here's how we do it in our teaching. God is all there is. And I am one with God, okay? Does that feel good? You can remember those first two steps, right? And I claim and know in this moment now that I have coping skills. I am less judgmental. I am letting that go. I am comfortable with money. Oh, money is my friend. I have fabulously successful authorships. I am churning out those books, okay? I am allowing myself to feel the extremes, right? And I'm allowing myself to have those experiences so I can feel all of that. I have grand passion. That kind of goes with that, doesn't it? I have health and vitality. Whatever is buried is being revealed, okay? I'm allowing expansion and integration, there it is, of all extremes, okay? So I have self-care, I have healthy boundaries, I have strength, courage, determination, I have acceptance, I have divine intuition, and I listen. How about I listen? Yeah, I want to listen? Yeah. Okay. I have clarity, and I'm allowing self-expression. I have trust and faith in myself, and I love me. And as I am in thanksgiving and gratitude for this truth, I release this prayer into the infinite law of Spirit of God, the heart of God, and we know it is done together. You feel this? And so it is. Amen. Good job, y'all. All right. I know. So if you want to write any of that stuff down, we can.
It'll be in the hall.
It'll be in the hall. You can get your phone and go click and take a picture of it. Okay. And with that, we have a song from
George, right?
George. And anybody birthday today, having a birthday? I mean, this month?
Anyone?
Anybody? This month?
Well, then, just.
Last month? Well, let George do a song and then we'll, how about next month though?
That's you.
I know, right?
It's a cake of celebration.
It's a cake of celebration.
Okay, how about we're celebrating we love ourselves?